Here's a short story that's definitely going to make your blood boil. And I'm just telling you this right now, disclaimer, so that you don't, if you're driving, don't drive off the road, or if you're at home, don't do anything destructive, because it's going to make you feel inclined to. All about a husband and father who's very strongly considering divorcing his wife after, well, how can I put this delicately, because it's YouTube? His stepdaughter, who's 10, had a sleepover. And her friend was over, and the next day that friend claimed that he, did some things that wasn't too good. The next thing you know, the police are there, and he gets arrested and dragged away. And it turns out, of course, he didn't do anything. It was all part of a TikTok challenge. And obviously now he's free, but regardless, the damage is there. And the wife didn't support him. He was in jail for nearly a week, because that's what happened. And the wife looked disgusted and totally took the side without listening to him, even though he thought that they had a great love, great marriage. Nope. And now, because of what happened, he's done with her, or at least darn close to it. I'll be going to go over here, guys, just making the sad point of how, my goodness, how guys just can't get a break. And how, unfortunately, in this world, the second one, particularly a guy, gets accused of something, regardless whether everything is proven that he's innocent, it doesn't matter, because that will never go away. People will always just assume that, oh, he got a lawyer, or a good lawyer, something like that. Or who knows what, or a settlement behind the scenes, a backroom deal, and that guy is essentially painted as the villain the rest of his life. And it's complete crap, but it happens. This is why so many guys have to be so careful of who they're alone with. And literally got to have cameras everywhere. Titled, Am I the A-hole? Should I divorce my wife after she believed I was capable of something so heinous? It says, I'm 38 years old. I'm considering divorcing my wife, a 37-year-old female. Last summer, around June, my stepdaughter, who's 10, had a friend sleep over, who's 11. And I won't go into details, but to make a long story and terrifying story short, it was claimed by that friend of hers that I did something. I gotta watch what I say here on YouTube, guys. I was arrested and detained for nearly a week before my brother hired an attorney on my behalf. Eventually, I would be released without charges due to the lack of probable cause. It says, FYI, to clear up any common misconception. It's a myth that police have to charge you within 48 hours or let you go. In my case, I was held for 6 days without being charged. Absolutely get a lawyer, even if they say there aren't any charges yet. Now on to why I'm thinking about divorcing. My wife and I have been married for 8 years, and we have 2 kids together, a 3-year-old boy and a 5-year-old girl. I thought I knew her better than anybody else. She was my best friend, my soulmate, my safe person, or so I believed. But the day that my stepdaughter's friend made those statements, and I was arrested, I can still vividly remember the look on my wife's face. Absolute horror, disgust, repulsion. Even when I told her it wasn't true, even when I pleaded that she knew me better than that, she just looked at me like I was the lowest person alive. Can you imagine the scene? Police show up and, put them in cuffs and all that. Now, understandably, I'm going to try to be fair here. You hear this and it's like, oh my God, you're disgusted at the thing and shocked. I can see her being shocked by the whole thing. But if she truly loved her guy, because sadly, we all know there are scumbags out there. Well, let's be honest here, there are scumbags out there that do awful things. The problem is when good men get accused of said things, and so it could happen. But if she really knew him, she would know that he wouldn't do that, even though the whole thing's shocking, but just instantly, he's guilty. My wife didn't make any calls while I was detained. She didn't get me a lawyer, my brother did. When it was eventually revealed that my stepdaughter's friend had fabricated the whole story for the TikTok attention, I was finally released and allowed to come home. Okay, so it wasn't a TikTok challenge, it was just to get attention. Why is this 11-year-old on TikTok? I know this is why in certain areas, I know certain states and some countries now, they're trying to ban social media for kids, especially even teenagers, and you can see why. But still, what the hell's the matter with this kid's parents? Right here, his life's over. I'd be suing those parents. Oh yeah. Afterwards, my wife tried to make things right. No, 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 honey. I was in jail for 6 days, and the only reason I got it is because my brother helped me. F you. She became extra kind, attentive, and apologetic. She said she was sorry for not believing me. She explained that, in her defense, she didn't want to be the kind of mother who dismissed a child's report of that. She says that too many allegations are ignored or not taken seriously, which can lead to further harm. I think there's far more allegations that are not accurate, that are followed through, that nothing happened, right? This marriage is over. End of story. And she ought to know the guy better. Obviously, she does. She does not. I think she was more concerned. I think the mother here, the wife, was much more concerned at how the community would view her as opposed to her relationship with her husband here. Because if she sided with him and it got out regardless of the truth, she didn't believe the kid. We went through couples counseling together, trying to rebuild what was broken. But despite therapy and her many efforts, I cannot seem to forgive her. I wouldn't, dude. I lost my trust in her completely. Every time I look at her, all I see is the expression of utter disgust and horror as I was being taken away. She keeps begging me for another chance, and I don't know if I can give it to her. Throughout all years of marriage, we've always been united, best friends, who've talked openly and believed in each other and supported one another. I can't even remember the last time we had a real fight before this. So, am I the a-hole for not wanting to give our marriage another chance and moving forward with a divorce? Now, the comment section, as you can imagine, is full of all sorts of things, but overwhelmingly they're saying it's done. End of story. And in my opinion, I'd be done too. There's no getting past this. Again, I can understand the initial shock on her part. Fair enough. But then once it came off, realize, hey, this is my husband. We have 2 kids together. She's supposed to love him. He would never do this type of thing. We were there. I'm going to stand by him, even if it makes me look bad in the community. Because I guarantee that was her big thing. She did the exact opposite. And only then, when it got out that the kid made it up, lives are ruined, guys. Do you think this guy is going to be able to be in that community anymore? They're always going to look at him like something happened behind the scenes. There was some bribe, a lawyer got involved. Because you know how people gossip. Come on here. Frankly, I would be contacting an attorney and suing that family. Now, some people could say, well, it's not the parents' fault that the kid did that. Well, the kid did do that, but who do you think got that kid that phone? Who do you think pays for that phone plan? Who do you think could probably set parental controls in that phone? Who do you think is not teaching their kid between right and wrong? I can go on forever here. I mean, let's be honest. Or another avenue is class action lawsuit against TikTok. Look, plaintiffs' attorneys and plaintiff law firms are lining up to sue social media companies because they got such deep pockets, hint, 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 over kids doing stupid things that they see on TikTok or Reels or whatever. And instead of blaming the dumbass kids and the dumbass parents, they want to go after Instagram or Twitter or TikTok. Well, how about guys that our lives are ruined because of these stupid challenges and stuff like that? Now, in this situation, this wasn't a challenge going viral, but you get my point, you know? Well, guess what? He mentions he did try to, and the lawyer said it's not going to work. What a joke. But now his life's ruined. Now some comment. I'm ranting because this whole thing pisses me the fuck off. Now there's some comments. One guy says here, I truly hope you're able to sue the parents of that kid and that put you through this for some sort of restitution. If this isn't made up post, you were put through absolute hell. Going to be tough to recover, and I wouldn't blame you for deciding either way. These kind of things ruin lives. And he says, I did try to pursue her parents with a civil litigation attorney. Since the parents weren't involved in the allegations, the child made up the story completely on her own. I was told I couldn't go after the parents because they were not legally responsible for their child's actions in this kind of situation. I don't know if I believe that. Who paid for the phone plan? Who paid for the phone? You know, who didn't set parental controls? I get a different attorney. Another one, this guy says, to be honest, this type of situation persists where so many fathers are unwilling to let their kids have friends visit. Or if they do, he leaves the house for the duration of the visit. Short of installing surveillance throughout the entire house, which many people would find objectionable, it's the only way to protect yourself. Nowadays, all guys got to have camera. Nowadays, guys got to have body cams like the freaking police because you just never know. Another one. Not the a-hole. Unfortunately, the damage is done. She's right that there are too many times a child's bad things happening is dismissed. The thing is that emotional damage from her believing it without it being proven will always hurt. I'm sorry, OP. I think this marriage ran its course. All because someone thought a kid that young was okay having TikTok. Thank you. Exactly. P.S. I absolutely look poorly at parents who allow their young kids to have access to these apps, and your experience solidifies that disdain. I'm sorry you lived through this, and especially as a parent. Amen. There are more comments, but I think you guys get the gist of it. So be careful, guys. Be careful out there. Don't let yourself be alone. And here's the thing. This guy obviously wasn't alone. There was a sleepover. His wife was there. He has his own kids. And obviously, just all it took was that kid saying, hey, in the middle of the night, you know, I got to watch what I say here. And that's that. And there's no guilty until proven innocent. It is guilty and always guilty. Because you all know how this works. I can't imagine the gossip in the town. I can't imagine what may happen with his job or the rumors spread around, because everybody loves a fucking good rumor. People are just assholes that way. So there you go. I'd be done. I'd move on. End of story. I just feel bad for the little kids going through that divorce, but you got somebody that has your back.